Okay guys, episode number, I'm definitely going to close that door. Episode number 6, I think, or something, episode something. Right, so today guys, I'm going to talk all about Matt Fraser and some more stuff about the Open. Now I'm very late to the Matt Fraser party, retirement party, but I took a break last week from making the podcast, not because I have lots to do, but just because motivation was incredibly low to do fucking anything. During the lockdown, when you're doing less, laziness just creeps in and it just gets very hard to do like anything. And yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Didn't really neglect training though, because stuck to routine in that regard, and then like anything I didn't have to do, I just didn't bother doing, and it was just basically like, there is no good excuse for it, just kind of binging Netflix and fucking playing the PlayStation and doing all these other non-essential activities, but that are just much more enjoyable than doing other non-essential activities, I guess. So yeah, trying to get back on track now, especially with the realization that the lockdown is so much longer than we initially thought it was going to be. So it's gone from being like a month of lockdown to 8 weeks of lockdown to now an additional like 7 weeks onto that. So it's like April or May before we come back. And the gyms definitely aren't going to be reopening once they drop down to level 4, because gyms are still closed for level 4 in Ireland. So that's a pain in the hole, but there's no point kind of giving out about it really, I think, because acceptance is just a great thing. You just accept the stuff that is out of your control and you just put it like out of your head and just move on with life. And it's like one of the best tools we have at our disposal these days for just the shit hitting the fan and, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, acceptance. Accept the stuff that is out of your control and then, you know, move on with the stuff and get going with whatever else is in control of your life. Cool. So anyway, yeah, so Matt Fraser has announced his retirement like 2 weeks ago, and I was going to try and do an immediate podcast and give my reaction and all this shit, but didn't bother because there's like a fucking 100 of those videos out there. And instead what I'm going to do is, and hopefully this works, is I'm going to watch some of Matt Fraser's really old regional competitions, the earliest ones I can find. Well, I found some footage of him in his first regional, and the man is just ridiculous, right? So there's a great article that he put up about his retirement on Morning Chalk Up. I'm going to link it in below this video. And he's like been doing CrossFit for 8 years, which is a lot less than a lot of other people I know. So in 2012 he walked into Champion Valley CrossFit and then like just took part in their like competition that they had in house, and then he just tells a great story about how his coach signed him up for a local competition where there was like 500 quid prize money, and the deal was if he wins he's to buy himself a pair of proper CrossFit shoes, and he won. And he was just like, oh my god, this is easy, I just show up to competitions and work out and all this kind of shit and I'll win some money. And it was all kind of like pocket change for himself getting through college. Like, you know, he'd win something, he'd buy himself something nice and all that kind of shit. And it's actually outrageous because there's no one like that just kind of starts CrossFit and immediately starts winning competitions. And that just kind of tells you the genetic caliber of human that he is, you know. Like, so if we think about it, started CrossFit in 2012. The very next year in 2013, he's at regionals. Probably not even doing CrossFit a year, but he does the Open the next year and qualifies for regionals. That's fucking insane. And he wasn't really fit at all. He was definitely strong when he started, but wasn't really fit at all. And he came 5th that year in the Northeast Regional. Like, that's fucking incredible. I think out of probably a pool of 30 guys, he came 5th, either 30 or 40. The numbers are changing every year, so it's very hard to fucking keep up with these things. But back then it was either 30 or 40. We'll just say it was 30, and he came 5th. Outrageous. Doing CrossFit a year, comes 5th in regionals in 2013. Madness. And I looked at some footage of him working out back then. There isn't much, like, you've all the attention on these other guys, and you can see Matt in the background, and he's just kind of suffering away like a normal human being. and he doesn't get much camera time. So I'm going to watch his 2014 regional efforts when he came first in that region, which is still crazy because he's doing CrossFit not even 2 years at this point, and he's coming first. He's winning regionals, and that year he went on to come fucking second in the games, which is fucking mad. Yeah, absolutely bananas, and came second then the following year as well. But in his article, which is well worth reading as well, he goes through like the detail that it took to be the best in the world, and he goes like he took every single possible measure, crazy steps to be the best. One that really stands out in my mind, I haven't read the article. I have the article here in front of me. I haven't read it in about 2 weeks, but one that I have not forgotten, a detail I haven't forgotten, is he would avoid, well, yeah, 2 things. In the months leading up to the games, he wouldn't ride his motorcycle to the gym in case he fell off or whatever. But then in the weeks leading up to the games, like, he wouldn't do stuff like eat his dinner using a steak knife in case he cut his finger or something like that, and that would hinder his like ability to do pull-ups or hold a bar or whatever. Like, that is definitely some seriously minute detail that no one else has been thinking about. Guaranteed no other like person is thinking about that kind of shit and that level of detail in the world. And that is definitely that, you know, 0.001% of whatever that kind of separates him or adds to the separation between him and everyone else. It's a brilliant article as well, because he goes on about it, or well, not even the article, but in loads of interviews he always goes on about how basically all he did was train and recover, train, rest, sleep, eat, and that was it. That was his whole life. He had a bedtime of 10 o'clock, no phones after 8:30. His wife did all his cooking for him. He had another guy, that old guy that's with him, I can't remember his name, it'll come to me, but he basically, like, in a competition would put his hand on his shoulder and he would follow him. He would walk him to like his next event, or walk him out of the event into the warm-up area or whatever, just so he didn't have to think about anything that he was doing. And then at home, like I was saying, his wife Sammy took care of everything. It's funny because, like, in an interview he had since he retired, he was talking to some guys and he was just saying like how, you know, he had his dinner and then threw the plate up on top of the sink, and then she was like, hey, that goes in the dishwasher. And he was like, oh, reality check. Things are changing around here. So that was kind of interesting. So fair play to Sammy. What's that expression again? Behind every great man is a great woman. Something like that. Very true in this situation anyway. But yeah, basically no decision he ever made was unintentional, you know. He's releasing his programming now, which I'm very excited about. I signed up for that. Can't wait to see what it is. But it's just more curiosity and scratching that itch than anything else, because there is definitely no secret formula when it comes to programming. Because I've heard it from a couple of high-level athletes, talking to Jamie Heaton and Sam Stewart at their camp, spoke to Kev Lynch, really high-level athlete back in the day as well. He even says it himself, that they do stuff like put in an hour a day on the rower and stuff like this. That's like the secret sauce that no one wants to fucking know about. That's the shit that nobody wants to do. You know, like, Kev Lynch left me a voicemail recently when we were talking about it, and he was saying like, you spend like 40 minutes to an hour on the rower, and then when you have to do a few calories on the rower, it's just a piece of piss in a wad. So that's the fucking shit that no one wants to do. And I came into the gym there one day with great intentions, hopped on the rower and just hopped off literally after 1 minute because I couldn't be arsed. So I wanted to try that as well myself, but I couldn't get myself into the mind space. I was like, oh, fuck this. I could not be bothered right now. But hopefully that was all just part of the lull that was happening last week in my life and everyone else's life. So, yeah. Is there anything else that needs to be said about this guy? He is amazing. There's nothing I'm going to spit out here that anyone else doesn't know already about his background and stuff and all this kind of shit, but yeah, he was definitely a man that stuck to routine like ferociously, incredibly well. No like reason for deviating from a plan at all. So that was amazing. I'm actually really sad he's retired, because he was definitely my favourite CrossFitter. Definitely my favourite CrossFit athlete, because in CrossFit it's nice to see, right? But there's sometimes things are a little bit, you know, little bit all too happy and shit like that compared to something like, I don't know, MMA. I always make comparisons between CrossFit and MMA or maybe boxing or something just because they've been around longer and people are more familiar with them, and it's the only other real individual sport that kind of stands out, you know, more so than like, I don't know, tennis or something. But like taking tennis as another example of an individual sport, like I don't know what those people are like, but in MMA and CrossFit, these guys, these names, once you kind of follow them a little bit at all, they have personalities, and you know, it must be kind of like a ethics thing in tennis, the way, you know, there isn't the same kind of, I don't want to say not drama, but the same kind of personality surrounding individuals, you know. They're a bit robotic in that world. But anyway, I know nothing about it. That's just my impression from the outside. What was I saying? Yeah, really like Matt Fraser because he had a bit of bite about him, you know. He's like, come on, motherfucker, give me your best shot. Let's do this workout. Let's see who's better. You know, this kind of shit. Whereas like someone like Noah Olsen has always had like opportunities presented in front of him to do really, really well and podium in a few years. And he's just fucked it away because he has had a bad strategy going into a workout, or like it's probably he had a bad strategy going into that workout and went too hard too fast or something like that. But it just appears as well though that he just doesn't have the grit that Matt has. Like, and I mean like, doesn't have the aggression, doesn't have that bite, doesn't have like, you know, that fucking chase inside him that maybe something like Ricky Garrard had, who got fucking suspended for steroids, but I know that's another story. But like, he just gives up too easy, and especially not last year, but the year before last year in 2019 games, when he was leading for a lot of it and he was very close, and he could have, you know, well, I don't think he ever would have really beaten him now, but he could have made it much more, I don't know, much closer, given him a proper scare. Like, he had the fucking chance to win and he fucked it away. That's kind of what I feel. Yeah. No bite about the other CrossFitters left over. They're all too pally and stuff and all this kind of shit. And even the way Matt Fraser fucking called out Rich Froning as well, I was just like, I'm not a fucking liar. What are you talking about? There's no one else kind of doing that kind of shit, and there won't be any more either because he's gone. And like, that also adds to the reason why he was the best. It's like kind of like Conor McGregor, but toned way down. Conor McGregor's too fucking psychotic. But, you know, a little bit of that, and it's kind of like self-belief. And if you're competing with the best in the world, you have to get every little edge you can. And if you're always being like happy CrossFitter and all this kind of shit, and you're in the competition trying to be the best in the world, you're never going to fucking win with that attitude. You have to be, you know, just a bit more aggressive when it comes to events and stuff. You don't need to be a fucking asshole either, but like, gotta just get fire from somewhere. You gotta get that fire going, get it lit at least. Christ. Anyway, Matt was like that. Wasn't afraid to speak his mind, wasn't an asshole about it, and you could just tell the guy was a competitor. So I'm gonna miss that. And I don't see anyone like that coming up either. It'll be really interesting about who's going to be the next like king of CrossFit. But I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk all about Matt. Creatine. Okay, so this is the Northeast Regional from 2013. I think it's the first day. 2014. This is the first day of the Northeast Regional. And it's gas because like the lads here are in great shape and all that stuff and blah blah blah, but it's so funny when you hear them talk about like basically what you could think of as like the changing of the guard. So Matt Fraser's coming and they have no fucking idea he's coming. Like, they probably know his name because he was like 5th last year, and he's like, oh, that guy, you know, he did pretty well last year, but this year they have just no idea how far he's come along in 1 year. And it's basically that he says he was already strong, he worked on his fitness and skills and stuff like that, and oh my god, did he really work on him. And they're constantly talking about, throughout the whole weekend, they're constantly talking about the other athletes who have been around longer, and like they have fucking no idea that they're basically looking at CrossFit royalty, you know. they keep on trying to be like, oh, you know, he's not doing well in this event because blah, 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 he's a tall athlete. And then Matt Fraser's over on the side and he's just fucking killing it. And it's just like, what are you talking about? But anyway, I'm going to play this and we're going to see what happens. Okay. In this situation, in this workout, right, he's already in the lead after 3 events. He's got 6 points. He's come like first and fourth, or third, yeah, first and fourth or something like that. But this event basically is like, I think, strict handstand push-ups, front squats and burpees over the bar, and it's just gonna display his like dominance over the whole situation. So I'm gonna press play. We're gonna hear the lads talk a bit of shit. So yeah, just to clarify, the workout is 21:59.63 of strict handstand push-ups, front squats at 195 pounds, which I think is like 90 kilos, and burpees. Why do the Americans still use pounds as well? What the fuck? Like, the only country in the world, I think is either the only country in the world or one of 3 countries, and the other 2 countries are very fucking small. Matt Fraser in lane number 6. James Hobart in lane 7. He wasn't too bad. He's won the games, I think, twice with Rich Froning. He didn't do well individually. Spencer Hendel. He's a big dude. No offense, Spencer, but you're fucking out of your league, man. And they keep banging on about how good Spencer Hendel was. Last year's champ or some shit like that. The crowd going. The crowd is going. Boom! Off they go. Okay, so the lads start, and they start off perfectly normal. I feel really bad for that guy in white because he's just a huge fucking dude, and every goddamn rep is so hard. But you can see Matt there in the middle with the black and red shorts, and he's fucking pounding out the handstand push-ups. Jesus, look at him go. It's like 21 push-ups in 24 seconds. Ooh, miles ahead. 21 seconds, you prick. Commentator's getting shit all wrong. Look at the camera on the wrong people. Good, that's it. Matt is baiting out the front squats. These would fucking destroy me. 90 kilos is no joke, and 21 in a row as well. You don't appreciate how hard it is when you're just fucking watching like this, being the old couch commentator. Look at him go, man. Look at him go. James Hobart there on the right had some really fingery front squats going on. Boom! Burpees over the bar. Yeah, he's doing an outrageous pace.
And you can see on the board there what he did. Struggled a little bit in event number 1 with a 13th place finish, but then came on strong late in the day with 2 second place finishes.
Sure, the fucking cameramen probably don't know what they're doing because they should have their fucking goddamn camera on Matt.
Let's take a look at lane number 5, Craig Kenny out of Brantford CrossFit.
Who's that guy? He actually came second, I think. Craig Kenny. If you look at the guy in the red t-shirt as well on the left, Spencer Hendel, his grip on the bar is so fucking bad. He's carrying all the weight in his hands at the bottom of the front squat. His elbows are so low. I fucking hate seeing people do that. I'm going to point that out again in a minute. But like, I'm always saying to my clients, if they can, keep a full grip on the bar. Like, you want shit to translate as much as possible in CrossFit. Weightlifters, there's loads of weightlifters out there that would catch you clean and stuff with just their fingertips. But like, I think for CrossFit, you're not just a weightlifter, so you want shit to translate as much as possible across, like, as much shit as possible. So keep a full grip on the bar, you know. And there's loads of barbell cycling stuff that's never done weightlifting either, like, you know, fucking DT, for example. It's like deadlifts into loads of cleans into loads of jerks. Weightlifters don't do that, so I think you should keep a full grip on the bar. Look at Matt go again. He's fucking unreal, boy. Baiting him out. There's a judge over there hassling him for no fucking reason a second ago. Took a break after how many reps? I think it was 15, yeah. So 10 reps, 5 left. Boom! I wish I could do handstand push-ups like that. He can do handstand push-ups like I can do press-ups.
push-ups. So is Hobart.
Look at him go, man.
Lane 7, and here comes
He is so far ahead of everyone else as well with the handstand push-ups.
slight advantage in this workout in the fact that he's one of our shorter competitors.
Boom.
Shorter arms means he has less distance to travel on those handstand push-ups, and also his range of motion on the front squats, not quite as much as some of the other athletes. Fraser on a mission this year.
Nah, man, front squats isn't going to make a difference if you're a fucking shorter athlete. You silly fuck.
Cranking out the handstand push-ups in the black shorts right there. Short, kind of dark in the front and light in the back.
I hate when like tall athletes argue that like, oh, squats are easier for shorter people because shorter range of motion. You're a bigger dude, you've got more fucking body mass. Relatively speaking, the weight's lighter for you. So yeah, that's the end of that.
He's going to have to keep a very good pace going. He's going to have to start moving up that leaderboard, starting with
Here's whatever his name is, Maliano or something.
right here. Maliano, one of the smaller guys,
And that's it.
a lot like Josh Bridges, that still has incredible strength. Just don't think they're going to do the body weight stuff. They lift very well also.
Boom, James Hobart. There he goes with like fucking, like literally like an index finger on the bar or some shit like that.
Right there.
And Matt is flying ahead.
Maliano are the top three.
Maliano, his first name is like Austin, is it? Justin? Austin? Austin. There's Spencer Hendel
Spencer Hendel on the red top and the black shorts.
doing singles.
Got a little
That's a fucking disgrace.
7 points. He is only 8
No offense, Spencer, but if you're trying to be the best in the world, like singles and strict hands and push-ups.
about the size of athletes.
And Spencer's a big dude, he's like 6'2" or something like that.
Arms,
Still that.
breaking up those handstand push-ups into
If you're 6'2" and you're a big CrossFitter, you just have to know that you have to work harder with your gymnastics and do more gymnastics.
singles, and it worked out very well for her.
There's a lot of big CrossFitters out there that just favour the barbell because they're strong and the barbell's lighter and they do more of that shit and give out then about fucking gymnastic squads because they say they're too heavy but they just haven't practiced it.
Champlain Valley Cross for the 24-year-old.
Look at him go, Matt's back on the handstand push-ups again.
Job on those. Only thing that's touching the wall, only thing that's allowed to touch the wall is his heels. If his hips or his butt touches that wall at all,
Look at him.
we'll get a no rep. Those
Camera should be all over Matt Fraser for fuck's sake.
that is Kearney in the purple top.
So far ahead of everyone else.
Maliano has now completed his set of
I'm tempted to try this workout and just see how fucking badly I do compared to these guys.
in lane 6.
That would give me way more respect for what they're actually doing. But you don't want that.
Set of 9, front squats to
You want to be coaching from the couch.
back in the white top, black shorts.
Austin Maliano lining up his hands, kicking up to the wall.
Every athlete
Not bad.
for the 20 minutes.
That's not bad for Austin because he's got extremely fucking long arms. He's got this giant deadlift, but that's because his hands hang around his fucking knees.
Now 9
There's Matt again. Matt's the fucking man.
into the workout. He is on your left. It looks like
Yeah, there's a huge. If that's first and second now on the screen, there's a huge fucking gap between first and second in this heat.
Fraser does. He's got a pretty good
I think Matt Fraser sets like
first place, but what
the fastest time in the world or close to it for this event.
third, so he needs to do better than
Savage.
Hobart, Kinney, Curdy, Hendel.
One more, Austin, with your long fucking arms.
Handstand push-up for Maliano. And one thing you have to remember, you compete in the region. It's a deal of pride.
What the fuck is that coach on about? Get back.
You want a top 3. You're trying to get
Or judge, sorry.
And Austin, better than anybody, knows what it means to get out there. He's
Hassling CrossFit royalty is what he's doing.
It is Fraser, Hobart, and Maliano in that order. As you see, Hobart with no shirt on,
Man, I see lads wearing belts for this, and I know it's heavy, but
racing through his set of
I
nine.
might try this, but I don't think I'd wear a belt because
There are your leaders.
you need to breathe, like.
Up into the handstand push-up.
You need to breathe.
Next to him in the front
Really, like, the only reason CrossFitters wear belts as well isn't to brace properly, it's like to try and counter back fatigue or something that's going on in the workouts. I don't know. I wonder is Matt wearing a belt. We'll see now if he takes one off at the end.
yet again blowing through the push-ups.
Ooh, that guy in purple is doing well.
When Fraser is in the home stretch here,
Look at him.
handstand push-ups,
Look at him go.
front squats, unbroken it looks like.
Whatever time he gets for this workout, you'd be doing well to get it done in less than twice the time.
Going on around him,
So get Matt Fraser's time, double it, and try and get it below that. I think that's a good gauge.
get back to the wall,
I think you're doing well.
sprint through his set of 3. Should easily
Look at him
be
go.
a high number in the event, 11:22. Not going to catch the event record of 8:18 though. But still, he's going to have an outstanding time. There's Joe Kearney again out of CrossFit MF sitting in 4th place.
Austin Maliano.
See the race between Hobart and Malialo. 2nd place.
Yeah, Maliano, you fucking walked, and that's why you didn't get the fucking win. So slow lining up your hands with the handstand push-ups. So, what are you at?
And it's going to be his final set of 3.
Look at the strut on this guy. He's fucking stud.
And he is going to walk it back to the rig. Make sure he's got plenty of.
That's because he's so far ahead. Boom.
Fraser on a Champlain Valley CrossFit.
Those are so clean. Spencer Hendel in the background still doing fucking singles. Jesus Christ.
You know things are going good when you can smile in this workout.
Yup. That's right, lads. He had no idea who we were looking at.
Blast through that. Willie beat 9 minutes. Coming up, he's going to make a quick hop here. He took a look at the clock quickly, and he is going to be right at 8:59. Just in.
What a fucking man, lads.
Matthew Fraser.
I'm going to keep this playing because you got to see how far ahead he is of everyone else. Like, so fucking far ahead. A full round ahead of other people. And I know the rounds are getting shorter, but like, the athletes are also getting slower. James Hobart.
Hobart knows if he can't stay in front of
Maliano could jog at least, for fuck's sake. That's probably the difference between these two athletes, is that one jogged back, one walked back. Yeah. He's looking back. You know he's got 2nd place wrapped up. He's got a great front rack position because he managed to keep all his fingers wrapped around the bar. You're too late, Maliano. He's finished. Boom. Well done.
He'll take 2nd, and now Maliano with 3 burpees remaining to take 3rd. Came in at 6th place, so they give a little ground. He's across at 10:13.
Tough workout, lads. Be lucky to get this done in sub 20. Oh shit! I think there was actually a 20-minute time cap for this workout. So these lads are well under that anyway. It's a serious heavyweight, but it's all about the handstand push-ups as well, because handstand push-ups, when they go, they're gone.
Another big grin by Matthew Fraser. He knows he is
God damn.
With 3 events remaining. 1 event today.
Oh my god, there's quite a mixed spread of barbells across the floor. Some of those guys are fucking way behind. Jesus. Alright, I'm going to can it there. Just one more thing worth mentioning about Mac Fraser's career as well, since I'm all over it, is like, so between 24 and 2018 in regionals, he's got some outrageous statistics. So basically, he's won 33 events, out of 33 events, he's won 19. And on top of that, he's had 6 top 3 finishes, 3 more top 5 finishes, and every other finish then was between 6th and 9th place. So he's had never finished outside the top 10. And like, regionals is one thing, but the games as well is equally as impressive. Like, he's got won by huge margins in the games. And there's another page of his stats that I'm going to post underneath this video. Like, but just to give you an idea, like the first year he won by 197, the second year 216, 220, 35 in 2019, but that was because of a penalty, and then 545 points in the last one. And I know some people will argue like competition wasn't as hard for the last one, but there was still no way anyone was beating him anyway, because every year those first 3 wins, the format was the same. Then the first 3 wins, the format was the same, and then his 4th, there was a different format, he still won, and then the 5th, different format again, he still won. So like, it hasn't mattered at all that the format of the games has changed. He still won every single time he was like trying to win. Or maybe like the second time he came 2nd, but yeah, that's his own story. So yeah, his stats are outrageous. Like another one here, I just see he earned 86% of all possible points in the games. What? only finished 20th or worse in three times out of 73 total events. Ridiculous. He placed first, second or third in 48 of those 73 events, or like 66% of all games events during a 5-year stretch. Bananas. There's definitely no fucking question now about who's better between himself and Rich Froning, because this just, when you lay it out like this just blows it all out of the water. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Matt Fraser. If I find another clip of him doing another CrossFit event, I might actually post that. Okay, so time to talk about the Open, because I love talking about the Open. Okay, so CrossFit sent out an email there during the week that was basically giving a sample workout and how workouts are going to look for the scaled foundations and equipment free options. So Dave Castro has came out with a video as well, and has said for the equipment free option you actually will need a stick. So, and he said the stick can be anything, literally like a bamboo stick, a PVC pipe, a brush. So I imagine there's going to be kind of like maybe overhead squats. Yeah, like they'd be the only challenging movement I can imagine doing with a stick, or maybe thrusters or push press. But I don't know why they'd bother with thrusters and push presses and stuff with a fucking stick. The only thing that I think would be actually challenging with a stick is actually doing overhead squats. So other than that, it's kind of a bit of nonsense, and I hope they don't go that route. But anyway, back to the sample that they gave, right? So basically the sample workout they gave was actually an old Open workout, which is workout from 2012, and it was 12.3, and it was 18 minutes of 15 box jumps, 12 push presses, and then 9 toes to bar, with something like 50 kilos and like 35 kilos for the men and women. And the scale version of that would be, instead of box jumps, you can do box jumps if you want, but you would do step-ups instead. You would do a lighter push press and hanging knee raise instead of toes to bar. That's the scale version. And then the foundation version would be same length of time, 18 minutes, box step-ups or walking high knees. Walking high knees seems like fucking rubbish though, but yeah, walking high knees, I suppose, for really foundation-y people. Push presses with a PVC pipe or a broomstick, and then 9 sit-ups or seated knee-ups. And that seems like a great workout. I just wish they'd, like, instead of having like walking high knees, they obviously have that in there for people who are like morbidly obese or something and want to take part 2. That's fine, I guess. But a better option would be giving people flexibility with the step-up. I mean, have the step-up on any weight you want. I think that would be a better solution. But look, I'm not the one in charge. Ooh, and they actually do give a height for the box. 4-inch box for the ladies, 6-inch box for the men. Yeah, like, I suppose high knees is just an option if you don't have a box, because anyone can make up something that's 6 inches high. And then the equipment free version of all of that is same length of time, 18 minutes, 15 broad jumps, and the broad jump is going to be 36 inches in length for everyone, and 12 push-ups, 9 V-ups. That's cool, I guess. Broad jumps. Maybe the PVC pipe is for like burpees over the PVC pipe. Maybe that's what it's for. Yeah, that probably makes more sense. Because they did say the equipment free option is going to be challenging. And like, there's no point doing like broomstick thrusters or something like that if you want to make it challenging. Also, I'm really excited to almost announce an idea that I have fully fleshed out for our gym, and it's going to be our version of the Open. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide up whatever people we have following our online program into teams, and they will be given points for doing every workout, points for other shit, and then the winners will be getting some prizes, and that's going to happen over the 3 weeks. But I haven't fully fleshed out the idea yet, so I don't want to say any more, but I'm kind of excited about doing that. What else did Dave Castro say about the Open? He also said that videos will be not too long and easy to judge, because he was saying this for people doing the workout at home and then sending in the workout to the affiliate owner, and just so he doesn't have like 20-minute videos to go through. He said they would be not too long and easy to judge. So like, the workouts probably aren't going to be very long. They're probably not going to be 20 minutes. Easy to judge as well. Well, easy to judge, I guess, just means things are straightforward, like straightforward movements, nothing too crazy. But then again, he also did say that there are new things to be seen, in quotes. So new things to be seen. So that could be stuff like a devil's press, you know, with one dumbbell. That is like definitely something that I think will probably come up if that's what he's hinting at there. So that's kind of exciting. And that's pretty much all the hints he gave out about the Open. But that's pretty cool. They also gave out another example of a workout during the week as well, which was from 2015. It was 15.3, and that was 14 minutes of muscle-ups, wall balls, and double unders. So the scale version would be pull-ups, wall balls, and single unders. The foundation is push-ups, air squats, and jumping jacks. And the equipment-free version is 7 dips between chairs, 50 air squats, and jumping jacks. I don't know why they had to have dips between chairs for the equipment-free. Not just leave it the same as the foundation as the push-ups. Kind of no need for that. But I guess that's just another example. We needn't worry about muscle-ups and wall balls anyway for the start. Yeah, that was another example they gave of equipment-free, scaling back the Open. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. And that almost concludes the podcast for this week. Hopefully it doesn't get taken down because of my commentary on the CrossFit video, but yeah, we'll see what happens there. One change that did happen in the gym this week was I rearranged the floor. Myself and Katie did that. And we had 15 lifting platforms, and we've taken away 3, so we have 12 now. And we used to have 15 people per class. And that was fine, but we're going to drop it down to 12 because a few reasons. Well, one reason is with this new format or layout, I have absolutely perfect spaces for social distancing. So you got like a full proper 2 meters from people in every single direction. Even better than before. You've more than 2 meters now. And the layout is much more symmetrical and much nicer to look at. But also I read an article by a guy called Chris Cooper, and basically he is a guy who mentors gyms, and he's done a ton of research on loads of different types of data that comes out of gyms. And one of those pieces of data was basically retention with members, so how long people stay at your CrossFit gym. And in his study, and it's the same every time, when you have 12 people per class, when you have 12 people per class, your retention is very good. But then when you drop beyond that, when you start to add like a 13th, 14th, 15th person into the class, for every extra person you add into a class, your retention drops significantly. Like a noticeable portion of members will leave the gym because they feel like they're not getting enough attention. They feel the place is too crowded. They haven't got enough equipment. Not kind of getting lost in the crowd basically. So we're going to keep the 12 people per class thing forever in our gym. And it's just going to mitigate all those problems. So we'll have the opposite of all that going on. People will get more attention per class. There'll be enough equipment for everyone. Loads more coaching contact. It won't feel lost in the crowd. And it'll just be a much better experience for everyone. So yeah, the 12 people per class is definitely here to stay. So at least that's kind of one good thing that came out of COVID, is that like when all this is gone, we'll have like a really good kind of space in the gym. And the best thing to come out of COVID is the fact that the 9 to 5 is probably dead. I read some articles on this during the week, and people are going to be given much more flexibility now in terms of like where they want to work from. There's some companies that are going to have people, like there was a sales company I was reading about called like Salesforce or something like that, and they're going to give people 3 options. The first option is you can work from home all the time unless when it's necessary to come in to the office for whatever reason, like meetings that are important that have to be done face-to-face, or meeting clients face-to-face, or whatever it is, but basically 99% of the time spent at home. Then you've the other end of the spectrum, which is going to be for people who are going to be in the office the whole time, and it could be for whatever reason, like I'm not sure what, could have to do with like some kind of IT maintenance of servers that has to be done in-house or something like that. And then you'll have the part in between, which is going to be the mixture, and that's people who are going to be flexible in terms of like coming in and working in the office and then also staying at home. And I think that's going to be generally the reflection that's going to go forward forever. So this is going to be the absolute best thing to happen that's going to come out of COVID, is like people's work-life balance will be much better. Like the 9 to 5 will be dead, and for us as gym owners, we'll be able to have more classes at random times. So hopefully in the future we'll have classes at like, at the moment we have like a 12 to 1 class, so hopefully we'll have a class from 1 to 2, maybe even a class at 3:30, you know, way more classes, and we can spread the load. No class is going to feel really, really packed, really, really busy. And that way, like I was saying, people can have like more space, get more attention from the coach, better experience overall for the clients. And I'm really looking forward to that in the future, like this time next year or whenever it's going to be, when we're all vaccinated and COVID is gone. But that's going to be really cool. Yeah, and that's pretty much that. So hopefully next week I will be talking about, I'm going to give the girls some attention. I hear Tia Claire Toomey has won her first bobsled race. So I must look into that and see what's happening there. It's also going to be really interesting to see how bobsled training has affected her CrossFit training. And basically, I understand from what I've read online is the only difference is going to be long workouts, long endurance workouts that she's done in the past are kind of taken away. And basically, like I've said before, 800 meter interval runs have been replaced with 100 meter sprints. And then generally everything else is pretty much going to be the same. And that's what I gather. That's one of the reasons why CrossFitters are translating so well to bobsled is because you don't have to change too much. So it'll be really interesting to see how she does in the open. Because she's got this kind of little bit of disruption in her training, but I'm sure she's going to be fine. And I honestly think Tia Claire Toomey is going to win the games again next year. I think there'll be no issues there. I mean, right now I must look into this, but I think she's training in South Korea or something, so she probably has a world class facility at her fingertips and she can just fucking crush it. Also read during the week that there was a Canadian CrossFitter who was like thrown out of his gym. So Canadian CrossFitter who's an elite athlete, has been to the games a couple of times and basically pulled out of his gym, and he was in there on his own because the cops and Canada or whoever don't recognise CrossFit as a sport, which is such fucking horseshit. Like, so therefore, because it's not a sport, you're not allowed to train. And he was the only one in there. So in Canada at the moment, I think the situation is you're allowed in there if you're the owner. But if you're not the owner, you're not allowed in there under any circumstances, because CrossFit isn't recognised as a sport, and that's such bullshit. Like, that's just petty. And he has some equipment at home, but he was kicked out the first day. Second day, went down to the gym but didn't go in because he saw like 6 cops outside the front door waiting for him to rock on or something like that to arrest him. Total bollocks. So I think what he's going to do is he's looking into moving, but he'd be better off like just if the owners arranged somehow to give him like formally a 1% share in the business and just be like, yep, he's part owner. Boom. I don't know how that would work though, but that would be a much easier solution instead of like moving through like another part of Canada, which is basically like moving country because Canada is fucking huge. Anyway. So those are all stories for another day. Thanks for listening, guys. That's my rant for today. I'm going to try and do this maybe a little bit more frequently, and yeah, keep more shit coming out to the public, keep you updated with things in the CrossFit world. I'm going to do more commentary videos on early Matt Fraser things too, because I like that. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Talk soon.